Hi guys, I'm Rick. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making steak roll-up supper. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm doing a recipe from a Betty Crocker recipe box. My brother Chet likes to go to flea markets, secondhand stores, and he found a box full of them and gave them to me. And this is a 40-year-old recipe or older. I don't know if you can see here. This was printed in 1975, this recipe here. Now this calls for cube steak, but the store didn't have any cube steak, so I got some thin sliced sirloin steak. So I'm going to start out here by, and these are like all wrapped together, guys. I'm going to start out here by taking one, and I have some herbes de Provence stuffing here, but you can use any kind of stuffing you like. I just seen it at the grocery store and I decided to use that. And I'm going to get it here. I'm just going to use my hand, which that's kind of hot. I'll use a fork. I made this and I left it sit for a while to cool, but it's still a little hot, but that won't hurt nothing. Now I'm going to stuff the steak with that. And then I'm going to roll this up. And what I'm going to do is, I have some toothpicks here. I'm going to put some toothpicks in it to hold the steak, because we're going to fry this to brown it. And when you go to eat this, don't forget to remove your toothpicks, because you're going to pick your teeth the way you wouldn't like to. Alright, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to finish stuffing my steaks. When we're ready to fry these, I'll be back. Alright, I have a large non-stick skillet warming up, and I'm going to add some vegetable oil in here. And you want to go a little generous on your oil, because you're going to drain it off then. That's just going to be to fry the steaks in. And I forgot to mention, I just used instant stuffing. One box will do. I made two because my wife wants to save the leftovers for later to eat. But one box will do. I'm going to get my steaks in here. I got different sizes. And I have a real big guy, but I'm going to cut that in half for 2 servings. I'm going to get my steaks in here and get them browned up on all sides. Okay, while my steak's brown, I'm going to put the sauce together for us. Now, Betty called for a 14-ounce can of tomato sauce, or 15-ounce can. I'm using 2 8-ounces, which is an ounce over, but that's alright. And you're probably going to find it like a 14.5-ounce can in the store. That'll work out just fine. So I'm going to get those in there. I'm also going to put in a half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just reading Betty's recipe here as I go. Put my spoon down in there. And I'm just eyeballing this, guys. Okay. It also calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of dry thyme, which just wasn't opened yet, so let me get this opened. A 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary. Either do the rosemary leaves or whatever they are, or you can do ground rosemary, it doesn't matter. And it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. Now, Betty doesn't call for this in the recipe, but I think this will go good to accent that tomato flavor. I have a beef bouillon cube here that I smashed up the best I could. It'll help, it'll cook down in the sauce as it cooks. But I'm going to get that broke down in there, which that's breaking down pretty good. Stir this up. Alright, now that my steaks are brown, I'm going to get them out of there and drain that oil off, and then we'll put them back in and add the sauce. Alright, now I have my steaks back in the pan. I'm going to add that sauce in there. I'm just going to try to coat the steaks the best I can. And as this cooks, it'll get runny from the steam that the steaks put off, because we're going to cover this. Alright, now I have 10, they're called boiler onions. I'm going to add those in there. Now these are bigger than a spring onion. That'd be too small. And if you can't find these or you don't have them, just cut some onion up in there. I'm going to put a lid on this, and I'm going to cook this on low heat for about a half hour to 45 minutes so the steaks are cooked through and they're good and tender. Alright, this is almost done. There's about 10 more minutes to go. I'm going to finish up by adding a 14.5-ounce can of French style cut green beans. And these are already pre-cooked, as you know. They're just going in here to warm through. So I'm going to get them down in there. And Betty called for an hour for this to cook. I'm letting it go for 50 minutes because this isn't 1975 and the world moves at a faster pace, and I'm pretty sure the steak will be nice and tender after 50 minutes of slow cooking. So I'm going to get my lid on this and let this cook for the last 10 minutes. And those beans will be heated through, the steak will be cooked, and this will be ready to go. Alright, it's been 50 minutes, the steak's done, the onions are cooked through, the green beans are warmed up. Let's go ahead and fix up a plate and see what we got. I made sure to go ahead and pull them toothpicks out of the steak roll-up so nobody gets hurt. I also went ahead and made mashed potatoes and a simple beef gravy for on top. So there you have it, from Betty Crocker's kitchen to mine, steak roll-up supper. Give this a try. I think you'll like it, and until next time, I'll see ya.